if you got weak knees, well, you need this now. So, this exercise, we're going to be going over knee stability. And it's going to be a variation of the Bulgarian split squat. Now, if you don't know what Bulgarian split squats are, well, shit, you're missing out, because they are very difficult, but they are very good for strengthening your legs. Now, a lot of people tend to have issues with knee stability, and it's basically when you're in a single leg position. So if you're doing a single leg RDL, a pistol squat, a skater squat, whatever it is, and you're balancing on one leg, a lot of individuals will have an issue where they get low into the position and their knee is bouncing all over the place. So the main focus on this exercise is to solidify and strengthen that mind-body connection so we can keep that knee stable. So for this exercise, since we're in a living room setting, I'm going to be using a chair as my elevated object. So just take note that your one leg is going to be elevated and the other is going to be based on the ground. So you can do a chair, you can use a bench, you could be at a gym and use any kind of object you want, as long as it's sturdy and you can put your foot on it. So what I like to do is find your distance from that object. Roughly, I'm going to say 2 feet away from it. Now, you want to take note though, dependent on your leg length will justify how far away you should be away from the object. I don't have the longest legs, so I'm fairly close to it. Now I'm going to start off with my left leg, so my right leg is going to go back on the object. I'm going to look behind me so I know I'm planting it properly. The first variation is going to be up on the ball of my foot. Now I'm going to show you a few variations, but this is the bare bones one. So I'm up on the ball of my foot, find my distance, adjust if I have to a little bit, and basically I'm going to have everything facing forward straight, nice and tall, up and through the crown of my spine. Inhale down, lowering, almost like I'm doing a pistol squat. And just take note, if you have tight quads, you're going to feel it a lot in the back leg. And from here, I'm going to go into the bottom position. Now, if you have poor knee stability, this is where your knee is going to start moving around. It's going to be going left, right, up, down. It's your nervous system trying to figure out how to stabilize that. So, when you're down in this position, the main thing you want to do is take the exercise slow. Move with a slow tempo. So tempo is the speed of the exercise, and we're going very slow. And the reason to do this is so that we focus on stabilizing that knee throughout the full range of motion. Because if we just run through the exercise quick, you might have one repetition where your knee's here, one repetition where it's in, back, forward. You're not focusing on that stability aspect. So you're connecting your mind to that part of your body. Take it slow and take it easy. So, deep breath in. I'm going down, control, focusing on my knee. If it starts wobbling, really focus on contracting the musculature, the muscles around your knee capsule. Once you get as low as you can go, come back up and repeat. Now, just as a side note, a lot of people think, oh no, my knee is over my toes. Oh, what will I ever do? I will tear my knee in parts. Oh God. Really, it's not going to hurt you if your knee is over your toes. Now, for a lot of people, the biggest issue will be ankle mobility, because not many people have mobile ankles, and they'll probably feel a lot of tension back where the Achilles tendon is and up through the calf. Now that's for a totally different video, and if you guys want that, shoot a comment below and I'll create a video solely on ankle mobility. But that's variation 1. Make sure you repeat it on both legs. And now we're going to go to variation 2. So this one, it doesn't seem that much difficult, but for some individuals it might be. Now, as a side note, you gotta have what's called plantar flexion. You need to be able to have enough flexibility in your foot where if you apply pressure to it when it's in this pointed position, it's not gonna cause a bunch of discomfort and fatigue. And in a second, you'll see why. So, basic setup, same as before. The back leg, instead of going on the ball of our foot, we're going to go flat. Now this is when you might need a cushion if it's a hard object that's elevated, or if you have a bench, it'll be easier, or a cushion chair like I have here. Now, same thing, same process. Flat foot on the bench, find your distance, breathe, take the tempo slow. If you have very bad knee stability and you're all over the place, take it as slow as you can and focus on what you are doing. Squeeze, contract those muscles in your leg. That is what's going to help you, all right? Now you want to make sure when you're doing this, when you're coming down into the Bulgarian split squat, pay attention to your kneecap, okay? That's kind of like the guide that I want you to use. If you are squatting down and your knee starts deviating inward, that's called a valgus fault. You want to correct that. If you're going way too far out to the side, bring it back to center. Try to imagine that you're bringing your kneecap straight down towards your toes, because that's what we want. Mainly just to focus on the stability aspect. So, that's variation number 2. Now we're going to jump into my favorite variation. And I say this because it's a killer exercise. And this third variation, honestly, you can do it outside of just focusing on knee stability. You can perform this as a leg strengthening exercise, and it's very, very difficult. Now, just ahead of time, you can do this exercise with the ball of your foot on the elevated surface, or you can go plantar flexion and place the top of your foot on the object. Now when you first try this, I suggest getting up on the ball of your foot. So, I'm going to switch legs. This time my left leg is going back, ball of the foot on the object. Sometimes if you put it right on the edge and you can squeeze it with your toes, that's a good thing too. And I'm getting myself situated, everything's straight. I actually have to distance myself a little better. And notice, if you're really wobbly, take a deep breath in and brace your core. This way you're going to stabilize your spine and everything, so you're not going to be all noodled back and lose your balance and fall. Okay? So, here, bracing the core, finding my distance. Now, this is the fun part. Before we really start the exercise, we're going to plie our front foot. So I don't know if you guys can see it. Now you can. Actually, let me scoot this back. There we go. Bam. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Alright, so what we're going to do is plie the foot. That means basically it's like a ballerina type thing. We're going up on the ball of our foot. Ooh, this is when the stability aspect really kicks in. So we're going to try to get as high up on the ball of this foot as we can, and then perform the Bulgarian split squat. Now, you're really going to have to play around with your distancing with your feet and just find what works for you and what's comfortable. Make sure the movement is safe and you're taking it nice and easy. Coming up on the ball of their foot, come down. This is really going to test that stability in that knee. And come up. Try to really focus on driving that heel up and not dipping your foot down as you go throughout the full range of motion in the exercise. So we're coming down, really stabilize, focus, come back up. And then you can switch. So remember, you're up on the ball of your foot like this, going throughout the exercise. If you do a few reps of those, I'm telling you, it is one of the best calf exercises I've ever done. And like I said, you can switch up that variation with the ball of your foot on the elevated surface or plantar flex and have the top of your foot on that object. Now, one last side note that's really crucial, because this is a single leg exercise. A lot of people don't think about foot strength, and it's so important. So I'm briefly going to run through this because, quite frankly, it's a topic that deserves its own video in a way. So if you guys want that video, shoot a comment below. Now, a lot of people, when it comes to ankle stability, it's a totally different ball game. What they'll have is, if you have a fault in your ankle, you'll most likely have a collapsed arch. So basically it's when your ankle deviates inward. Now, we don't want that, because then that comes up to the knee capsule and causes all kinds of other issues, which we don't want when performing this exercise. So if you find yourself with your ankle collapse, flat foot, you really want to focus on gripping the mat with your toes. Try to imagine you're putting as much pressure in your big toe as you are with your pinky toe. So really use that pinky toe. Focus on using every portion of your foot. All four corners, basically. Now, from here, we're going to almost screw our knee into the ground, or screw our foot into the ground. This is creating that torque within the knee capsule. And when you do this properly, the arch of your foot will raise up, and you almost feel as if you're squeezing the ground together. Now, if you have very weak feet, your foot will fatigue very easily when performing this exercise. But it's all good, because the more you do it, the more it will strengthen, and then before you know it, you'll have a nice healthy arch. Unlike what that foot doctor told you when he's like, yeah, you got flat feet. Get those insoles in there. Never worry about strengthening your feet. Yeah, because obviously the podiatrist knows what he's talking about. So, that's if you have really flat feet. And it's just a good side note when you're doing this exercise, because you really want to focus on your knee capsule and that stability, but you want to focus on your foundation, the portion of your body that's grounded 24/7, which are your feet and your tootsies. So that's basically it, guys. I'll run through each variation real quick, and then I'll send you off on your way. If you got any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram, email me through healthalchemisttraining.com, or just shoot me a comment below. I'm not as active on YouTube as anything else. So, just try to get a hold of me. I'll help you out. Variation 1. Got my leg back, find my distance, ball the foot on the elevated object. Come down, contract everything, focus on that knee, make sure it's not wobbling. Come back up and down, slower than this. Take a 6 to 8 second tempo if you have to. 6 seconds down, 6 seconds up, okay? Or 8 down and 8 up. Variation 2. Bam, plantar flexion. Foot is on the elevated surface. Come down, stabilize that knee. Come back up. Alright, now the next variation. The plie in the front foot. So we pop our heel up. We're up on that foot nice and tall. On the lead leg. Contract everything. Ball of the foot on the rear leg for variation 1. Come down. Really focus on this one. And back up. Keep that heel high. Down. Really focus. Come back up. Variation 2. Foot on the elevated object is flat. Same thing. Front leg is still raised up. Down. Really contract. Focus. Get a little wobble. Take it slower. And focus on contracting that musculature. And come back up. Make sure when you're doing this knee stability work, you're taking a good amount of rest. I really recommend 3 to 5 minutes because we're taking a slow tempo and you're really putting a lot of concentration on contracting and moving efficiently throughout that full range of motion. Now you guys can do a rep and set scheme if you want. If you're clueless on any of that, click, bam, click there. And you can get some online training. I can hook you up with a program and set you on your way. Now, another variation, you could do this for a set amount of time if you'd like to. So you could set a timer for 1 minute and you just focus on the movement, taking it slow, in, down, and out. You could go from 1 minute to 5 minutes. Start slow, don't rush into it, and you guys will have pistol squats, skater squats, any of your single leg shit. Man, it's gonna look beautiful. People are gonna be like, damn man, you had noodle legs and now you're solid like a rock. What did you do? You did some knee stability exercises. That's what you did. And I hope you guys enjoy this exercise. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Take care.